Right, part 2 of the alignment video. So like I said, I've got the from the previous video, I've got the drive shaft set up here, and I'm just using on this end just like a caliper. I think that's what it's called. I just call it disc because that's what it is. The hole in the middle there just serves to provide some support, and here I'm using these. Used to be weights from a gym, and this will allow me to turn the drive shaft like this. Ideally, you'd have somebody turning it for you, but now this will allow me to, like right there, if you look carefully, it is pretty good, but you don't want this like going up and down, because if it's going like up and down, that means that it's, misaligned. That's going to be hard to check this way, because you can see that's pretty good there. That's really good. And just look at a fixed point and see if it moves. Now obviously this does move a little bit to the side, like that, side to side, because that hole is actually bigger in here, the same thing. But most importantly, you want to look at this end. I want to look at this end here. And I set this up here just so I can compare, so you guys can see that. See, there's a tiny space there. Now as I turn the drive shaft, which ideally I'd have somebody turning for me, so he's just touching the steel. Whoa, now you've got a little bit of space there, you see? Now there it goes down again. There's the space. Down it goes again. There's the space. Now I want to find the highest spot of the space, because that, like where the space is, that's the lowest spot. It means that this part here, instead of it being nice in the line, is actually like this, right? That's why you have the space at this end. So what I've done is already I've marked it here. I actually didn't mark it here because it just happens to be that this is it's right at this end here, where there's the this little, see that these two splines, they're actually together here. And the reason they did this is so that the part that goes around here, you can only get it in one place, so that it's in phase, sort of thing. Just look that up, because this I'll show you. I'll show you guys. This part is gonna go there, so you don't want to. It can't go like this. Can't go like this. There, it's got to go in a specific position. And that slot there, you see, it's got a matching slot there. That ensures that this only goes in the correct place, which is really nice. Okay, now what you'd normally do is you just take the drive shaft off, and you hit it with the sledgehammer. Obviously, put a block of wood here, not so that it doesn't damage the splines, but you'd hit it with the hammer, sledgehammer, whatever, to put it in the correct spot so that there's no more ups and downs here. But in my case, this thing is in really long and it is really tight, so I've hit it and it didn't work. So what I'm going to have to do is align it by heat. And after I weld this, I've seen this on YouTube, and I know this. I've seen it another place. That's how you do it. You hit it. You heat it. You heat a piece here where it's supposed. You're gonna heat it where it's supposed to go down, right? Where it's supposed to shrink, and you heat it till it's like you've got like a round circle like that, about the size of a dime, size of a small coin. Heat it till it's like red hot, and then right after you remove the flame, you throw water on it, That's going to cause the steel to shrink, thereby moving the this whole thing here. That's how it works. And the way I'm going to do is, I don't have like a torch. I have a plasma cutter, but it only really only cuts so. But I can heat this up with a TIG welder. Just the flame, just keep the flame there just to heat it without melting anything. Just heat it, and then throw water on it. And that should cause it to shrink rapidly and move this thing. You got to make sure you make this on the right side. And it's probably best to do this after this is welded. Now for the welding, you got to do at least a minimum of 8 points before you actually start the real welding. Because if you think, well, let's start here and just go all the way around, what's going to happen is that heat is just going to really build up and it's going to warp this. Trust me, it does. Or don't trust me, just try it. It does warp. Doesn't matter how thick the steel is. This is pretty thick, The only thing that this will probably not happen to is cast iron, because it's really hard. It doesn't warp at all. But in this case, we've got like regular steel pipe. It will warp. Not this, as this part is like cast iron or cast steel or whatever. It won't warp. But yeah, the pipe will warp. So you can't just start welding and just keep going. You gotta do like one spot weld here, and then do a spot weld on the opposite side, spot weld in there, and then the opposite side, and one in between in opposite sides, and until you have 8 points evenly spaced. Obviously you don't need like a tri-square, just eyeball it. But then the points, what that's going to do is the points are going to make sure there's no warping. It's going to hold everything in place. Even so, you don't want to put too much heat in it. Okay, and that's quite easy to happen with the TIG. So you don't want too much heat. Maybe do a section of welding and then wait a few minutes for it to cool down a little bit. That's a significant error I did on the other drive shaft. I got it nicely aligned. I was really proud of myself, and then after I finished welding, it's like, what the fuck is like way off like that much? It's like, damn. But you know what? I'm just gonna try hitting it one more time. I doubt that it'll move at all, but it's worth a try. If not, we're gonna have to use this. This is probably gonna work. I'll just show you guys one more time. This here, and this little setup here is just like an inclined plane. That way you can just adjust this. You can move this up or down to the required height that you want. Let's just look at this one more time. Right there. See. It's really not that much. It's maybe like 1 millimeter, or maybe even less. It's really tiny. But still, I want to try to get it as perfect as possible.